Good day everyone! Isang mapagpalang araw sa ating lahat at welcome to my math class. For today's tutorial, ang ating lesson is about plane coordinate geometry focusing on the distance formula. So, bigla ko lang ang idea, itong plane coordinate geometry, medyo malawak itong lesson na ito. So, i-divide natin siya into parts para may sequence, no? Para mas masundan ninyo kung ano-ano ba yung mga subtopics under plane coordinate geometry. Okay, so I hope ready na kayong makinig. Simulan na natin ito. Okay, so for our learning objectives, after going through this lesson, you're expected to apply the distance formula in proving some geometric properties. So yun yung ating end goal in this lesson, to apply the distance formula in proving geometric properties. So how are we going to achieve that goal? No, you need to know how to derive the distance formula, and then the most important part here is to get the distance between a pair of points on the coordinate plane. So doon yung yun yung magiging core ng ating discussion ngayon. Okay? So let's start for the concept. Okay, so what is the distance formula? So by definition, it is an equation that can be used to find the distance between pair of points on the coordinate plane. So we're talking about getting the distance between point A to point B or point B to point A. Okay, so now if we're going to use points here, so we're going to have a representation of points by using capital letters. So we have here point P, we have the x sub 1, so you're going to read this as x sub 1, y sub 1 as the coordinates, and for the second point, now we have point Q, so the coordinates are x sub 2 and then y sub 2. Okay, so kung sa algebra, familiar na naman kayo, how do we label points, no, coordinates. Okay, so to find the distance between these points, so we're going to use this formula. So ito ay simulan nyo na itong i-memorize at napakahalaga niyan. Napakaraming pwedeng paggamitan ng formula na yan as long as you're talking about the distance between 2 points. Kayang-kaya niyang isolve yan. Okay, so for the distance, we're going to use small letter D. So it's the square root of the quantity x sub 2 minus x sub 1 quantity squared plus the quantity y sub 2 minus y sub 1 quantity squared. Or you can use the endpoints, or the points between the 2 points. So you can write PQ, and you're going to use the same formula also. Okay, it's still the square root of the quantity x sub 2 minus x sub 1 squared plus the quantity y sub 2 minus y sub 1 squared. Okay, so take note of that. Keep that in mind, yung formula na gagamitin natin in getting the distance between 2 points. Okay, now let's have an example. Okay, let's have illustrative example number 1. So as you can see, we have here a sample coordinate plane. Okay, given 2 points here, so we have 2 coordinates. Okay, we have 2 sets of coordinates. So here, so we're asked to find the distance between points with the coordinates -3, 4, and 5, -2. So if you're going to locate these points sa ating Cartesian plane, okay, so ito siya. So yung -3, 4, so nandito siya. Ito yung point na yon, nasa quadrant 2. And then yung second point natin with the coordinates 5 and -2 ay nasa quadrant 4. Okay, now, how are you going to find the distance between those points? So, hindi naman kailangan gamitin mo pa ng ruler yan, no? So, we can solve that by using the formula na diniscuss natin kanina. Okay, for our solution, to get exact distance between these points, okay, so we're going to use the distance formula. So again, you just write this. D is equal to the square root of the quantity x sub 2 minus x sub 1 squared plus the quantity y sub 2 minus y sub 1 quantity squared. Now, so how are we going to identify the points? Okay, so for the x sub 2, x sub 1, y sub 2, y sub 1. So sir, pwede ba namin i-review? Sige, reviewin natin muna. Saan ba natin ilalagay yung x sub 1, yung x sub 2, y sub 1, y sub 2. Okay, so ganito lang siya. So if you're going to designate, no, kung ano yung first point mo. So, in this case, if this is our first point, negative 3, 4, so dyan manggagaling si x sub 1 at saka y sub 1 kasi siya yung ating first point. So, in this case, so again, yung unang letter number natin, yan yung x, and then yung second number natin dito, yun yung y. Okay, so sa ordered pair yan. Now, so dahil dalawa yung points natin, kaya siya mayroong sub 1 at sub 2. So if this is your first point, so dito mo ilalagay yung iyong sub 1. So nandiyan si x sub 1 at nandito si y sub 1. And then, understood na itong second point natin, dito manggagaling yung ating x sub 2 and then yung ating y sub 2. Okay? So, ganun lang. So, sir, pwede pag what if pinagbaliktad ko? Ito yung ginawa kong first point, yung 5, negative 2, at ang second point ko is negative 3, 4. Parehas lang yun. You will come up with the same answer as long as walang mali sa operation. Parehas lang yun. Okay? So, kung ito yung ating gagamitin na first point, so nandito mapupunta si x sub 1 at saka si y sub 1. Okay? So, tingnan natin. Substitution. So, ang x sub 2 natin dito is 5. Ayun, nilagay natin yung 5. And then, minus, ang x sub 1 natin is negative 3. Ito siya. Okay, so quantity squared. Plus, so yung ating y sub 2 is negative 2. Ito yun. And then, ang ating y sub 1 is 4. Okay, so minus 4. So, ito ngayon yung ating magiging equation. So, be careful on this kasi ito yung pinaka-importanting part. Yung masubstitute nyo ng ayos, yung values na i-allocate na ilalagay natin, i-designate natin sa x sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, and y sub 2. Okay? And then, the next would be, you just follow the order of operations. So, here, we have rule of signs. Okay, balikan natin yan sa integers. So, you have 5 minus negative 3 is positive 8. Okay, kasi yan, no? Diba? Magiging positive yan. And then, you have negative 2 minus 4 is negative 6. Okay, yeah. So, that will be our next equation. Continue lang natin yan. So, next is, we get the yung exponents niya. Okay, so we simplify this by getting the square of 8 and the square of negative 6. So the square of 8 is 64 and then the square of negative 6 is positive 36. And then we add, so 64 plus 36 is 100. So here we have now the equation D is equal to the square root of 100. And then the last thing that you're going to do is to simplify this radical sign. So you just get the square root of 100. We're lucky that 100 is a perfect square. That's why our answer is a whole number. So the distance between 2 points, so between negative 3 and negative 3, 4 and 5, negative 2 is 10 units. So yung distance nito, okay, so we can now write here as 10. So, 10 units siya. Okay, kasi wala pa naman tayong binibigay na unit of measurement. So, generically, lalagay natin dyan ay yung units, no? So, 10 units yung distance niya, no, between these 2 points. Okay? Ayan. So, I hope naintindihan yung process ng pag-solve ng distance between 2 points using the distance formula. Okay, now some reminders tayo that the distance formula is used even if 2 points are on the same horizontal or vertical. So, pwede mo rin gamitin yung distance formula kung ang line mo is naka-horizontal, sabihin is ganito. Okay, yan. So, pwede mo rin kunin yung distance between 2 points, kahit yan ay naka-horizontal or vertical yung ating points. So, pwede mo pa rin gamitin yung ating distance formula. Now, take note of this. If one point is the origin, okay, the origin. So, ito yung origin natin. Ayan. The formula for the distance is simply this. Ayan, umiksi. Napakasimple na lang. Distance is equal to the square root of x squared plus y squared. Sir, bakit naging ganun na bawasan, umiksi siya? Kasi nga, kung ang other point mo is the origin, so alam naman natin, ang coordinates ng origin natin is 0, 0. So, that's 0, 0. So, again, sa operations natin, kapag nag-add ka ng number sa 0, the answer is still the number itself. So, kapag nag-subtract ka, ganun din. So, That's why madi-disregard na yung ating point na to. Kaya ang magiging focus na lang natin is yung given point na wala sa origin. Kaya wala na tayo dito x sub 1, y sub 1. Diretso na tayo. Bakit? Kasi lalabas na isa na lang yung coordinates na kukuhanan natin ng value, which is yung wala sa origin. Okay, so yun. In case lang na mapadaan sa inyo yung problem na to, mas mabilis nyo siyang ma-solve na hindi nyo na kailangan gamitin yung mas mahabang yung formula ng distance. Okay? Ayan. So, reminders lang yan. Okay, so let's have example number 2. Okay, so given our illustration here, so as you can see, we have here the Cartesian plane with point 3, 4, and then yung isa nandito. So, ibig sabihin, nasa origin yung ating second point or maybe the first point. So, depende kung paano nyo siya i-label dyan. Okay, so, paano nga ba i-solve kapag yung isang point ay nasa origin? So, again, like what I said, mas madali ito. Bakit? Dahil mas magiging maikli lang yung formula na gagamitin nyo. It's simply, you're going to use this. T is equal to the square root of x squared plus y squared. Now, sir, bakit naging ganun kaiksi? Dahil nga, yung other point niya is a origin. So, alam natin, ang coordinates ng origin ay 0, 0. Therefore, mathematically, yung magiging value niya ay hindi na makaka-apekto sa ating operation, no? Sa magiging sagot natin. Kaya, ang bibigyan na natin ngayon ng focus is yung second point. With, given the coordinates 3, 4. Okay? Now, kung yun yung ating okay, so yun to be our coordinates, so 3, 4. Now, so ito na lang magagaling yung ating x and y kasi nga nag-iisa na lang to, ito na lang gagamitin natin. So napakadali. Ang x natin dito is yung 3, yung ating first number sa ating coordinates, at yung ating y is yung second number, that is 4. And then you just get the square of 3 and the square of 4. So you have here now 9 and 16. And then you get the sum. So you have 25. And to simplify this, you just get the square root of 25. So the answer is 5. So ganun siya kaiksi, ganun siya kabilis because the other point is the origin. At alam natin ang coordinates nun ay 0, 0. Okay? So ganun lang siya kasimple. Next, let's proceed to another example. So, what if you will be given points lang? Okay, so the coordinates between 2 points. So, point A is 1, negative 1, 2. And then for the second point, point B, it has a coordinates of 3 and negative 4. So, masasolve ba natin siya kahit hindi natin siya ilagay sa Cartesian plane o hindi natin siya i-draw sa Cartesian coordinate plane? Yes, pwede. Basta given lang yung coordinates ng 2 points, masasolve natin siya agad. Okay, so paano ba natin siya gagawin? So, I prepared here a table. So, susundan nyo lang ito para hindi kayo maligaw at maging tama at accurate yung magiging sagot. So, sundan lang natin itong step-by-step procedure natin on how you're going to get the distance between 2 points. Okay? So, here, tingnan natin. So, ang first step is to find x sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, and y sub 2. So, again, so saan ba manggagaling yan? Siyempre, nandito sa ating given points. So, ang ating first point is A. So, nasa kanya natin ilalagay si x sub 1, y sub 1. So, again, yung first number natin is the x sub 1. And then, yung second number natin ay y sub 1. Okay? And then, yung ating second point is yung point B. So, dito natin kukunin yung ating x sub 2. Okay? And then, yung ating y sub 2. Ayan. That's it. And then, check natin kung magiging tama ang ating magiging values. Okay, correct. So, you have your x sub 1 is negative 1. And then, you have y sub 2, that is 2. And then, you have x sub 2 is 3. And then, your y sub 2 is negative 4. Okay? Next, write the distance formula. Ayan. So ginamit natin yung 2 points natin, yung A, B. So, we're looking for the distance between points A and B. Okay, so is equal to the square root of the quantity x sub 2 minus x sub 1 squared plus the quantity y sub 2 minus sub 1 quantity squared. Okay, and then substitute the values of the x sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, and y sub 2 in the formula. So we'll come up with this equation. So tingnan natin kung tama muna. X sub 2 natin is 3, correct? Minus our x sub 1 is negative 1, correct? Quantity squared plus ang ating y sub 2 is negative 4, correct? Minus our y sub 1 which is 2, quantity squared. Okay, so bago po proceed sa next step, make sure na tama yung mga sinabstitute nating values. Okay, next, perform the operation. So you just get the difference between 3 and negative 1. So you have 4. And then negative 4 minus 2 is negative 6. And then next is to square the result. Okay, so we're going to get the square of 4 and negative 6. So you have 16 and 36. And then you just add the 2. And then you'll come up with the square root of 100. Wait lang. Okay, so again, so you have here now the square root of 52. So AB is equal to the square root of 52. And then you're going to simplify this. Ayan. So again, hindi ito perfect square. Kaya ginawa natin siya ganito. So how do we come up with this? So kapag hindi perfect square yung ating radical, yung nasa loob ng radical sign, ang gagawin lang natin is to look for the factors na kung saan yung isa ay perfect square. So in this case, yung ating 52, okay, yung 52 natin, so ang possible na pwede niyang maging factor is 4 times 13. So again, i-check nyo lang ulit. 4 times 13, that is 52. So ito yung napili natin kasi itong 4 is a perfect square. Now, kaya kapag in-square root mo yan, mailalabas mo ngayon yung 4 kasi nga perfect square siya. So ang magiging final answer mo dyan is 2 square root of 30. So may iwan yung 13 kasi hindi siya perfect square at prime number na to. Kaya ang magiging final answer natin dito is 2 square root of 13. So sir, mga gaano ba kahaba yung 2 square root of 30? So pag kinalculate mo yan, you just type 2 and then square root of 13. You just get the product of 2 and then the square root of 13. The answer is 7.21. So ganun kahaba yung distance between points A and B. Okay? So ayan. So hindi sa lahat ng pagkakataon eksakto yung magiging sagot natin. So kailangan lang marunong tayo mag-simplify ng mga radicals. Okay? Yung mga nasa radical signs natin. Okay? So our final answer again is 2 square root of 13 approximately in decimal form, that is 7.21. Okay? Now, so if you're ready, so you can try this problem. Okay, so you just use the formula for getting the distance between pair of points. So let's try. So ito yung ating 3 pairs of points. So you just solve for the distance between these points. And then kung may sagot na kayo, lagay nyo lang sa ating comment section and then titingnan natin kung tama ang inyong mga naging sagot in this topic about the distance formula. Okay, so good luck at maraming salamat sa panonood. Thanks for watching. So kung nagustuhan ninyo ang tutorial na to, please hit the like button and then comment kayo kung may mga questions pa regarding distance formula, and then you can share this tutorial sa mga kaibigan ninyo, kung mga kaklase nyo na sa tingin nyo ay kailangan ng video na ito. Muli, ako ang inyong lingkod, Sir Jolan M. Soreño. Stay healthy and safe. God bless us all.